Hi there, I'm Professor Blackmore, and I want to welcome you to ProfessorBlackmore.com, where our goal is to empower results through real productivity. And I'm coming back to you today with another installment of my series entitled Don't Waste Your Corona Time. And this is going to be my deposition notebook edition. But if the truth really would be told, I really need to start a series called Don't Waste Your Impeachment Time. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so today I just want to quickly come back to you and talk to you a little bit more about my deposition notebook. More specifically, my OneNote Deposition notebook. And before we even get started, I want to let you know that if you would like to purchase a copy of my pre-made deposition notebook template, my OneNote Deposition notebook template, please visit me on my website at ProfessorBlackmore.com. But I'm going to go ahead and jump quickly into this. And before I stop over here at my deposition notebook template, I want to just give you a sneak peek at my trial notebook, my OneNote eTrial notebook template. And so here is my OneNote eTrial notebook. And so these are all of the sections in my OneNote eTrial notebook, okay? So this eTrial notebook is set up on the Buckland's Building Trial Notebooks setup. And so I am using the same sections that are used in the Buckland's Building Trial Notebooks. And so these are all going to be forms that you would find in the Buckland's Building Trial Notebook. And so I have pre-made this eTrial notebook with all of the sections. And so it starts off with the plan, and in the plan it tells you how to structure the entire notebook. And so these are forms that are in here pre-made for your eTrial notebook, and it shows you step by step what to do in each stage of setting up the eTrial notebook. But I also have my separate OneNote deposition notebook. And so I'm just going to go over to that right now. And so here is my deposition notebook here. All right. And so these are all of the sections of my deposition notebook. And in the last installment, where I talked to you all about how I set up this deposition notebook template, I went through all of the sections and I showed you how there is an index here. And so if there is any section that I just want to quickly get to, I can go there by using this index. And so here I'm going to go straight over to the deposition questions section here. This is where I formulate my questions as I am getting ready for the deposition. And so that's where I left off in the last installment. I showed you how I use my deposition bank. So there are questions in the deposition bank here that would be used for different types of deposition scenarios. Now, in this particular sample case, we're working on a motor vehicle accident. So these are questions that are from a motor vehicle accident. And this is the template of the sample questions, the pre-made questions in the sample here. And so I would go here and just select questions from this sample set of questions, all types of questions that we would ask. This is in preparation for a deposition of the police officer in the case. Okay, and so this is the questions that I have set up for my police officer deposition. And so I'm gonna go over here where I can show you my notes section here. All right, now in my notes here, I have also some checklist questions that I may ask in cross-examination after the other side has taken the questions from the police officer as well. And so here is what my entire set of questions would look like for that cross-examination set of questions as well. So I have my entire list of questions here. So I will, let's see. So here are some of the checklist questions coming from the cross-examination checklist. And then I like to set up my questions on my yellow pad here with two sides. And so I have my questions on this side, and then I like to leave a space on the right-hand side, which is where I write my handwritten answers during the deposition. And I showed you how I use my Samsung notepad to take those handwritten notes during the deposition. All right, and so here I'm going to go back to my deposition questions here. And so I have already taken some of those handwritten notes during the deposition that are going to answer some of these questions. I'll blow this up just a little bit here. And so here are some of the answers that I have to some of those questions that I have taken here as the deposition is proceeding, because if I am asking questions to that witness during the deposition, then I probably am not going to have time. Personally, I can just jot it down in handwriting form for me quicker than typing those answers in. Later on, what I would do is when I am finished taking down these notes, I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to make a copy of this page. And I'm going to paste it down here. All right. And so later on, as you know, what I would most likely do is I would select these items here. I will go over to my draw feature, and then I'm going to use my lasso, and then I will take my handwritten notes, and then I will go up here to my ink to text, and then I would turn that into text, and then I can go on and formulate my deposition summary by having my typed up notes at that particular point. So that is just a quick summary of what I would do or how I would use this deposition notebook. And as you know, when I have my notes in OneNote, that means that I never lose this note. So this note will sync into the cloud, and I will have it available on my desktop version of OneNote. I can also access this note in my cell phone if I wanted to. So I'm going to go over there to my cell phone right now. Okay, so I want to go over to my deposition notebook right here. All right, and so here are all of my sections in my deposition notebook. And now I'm over here in tab 4. And I just made this new section here. And so now I can go down and look at all of my questions and my answers if I want to do that. And this is accessible all on my cell phone. So you want to have the capacity to be able to automate some of the processes in your office. And if you can move away from taking notes on paper. And so this is one of the reasons why, because as soon as I take this note, it is going to sync through the cloud and record this note in my OneDrive, which will make this accessible on my online versions of OneNote, which will make it accessible on my notepad, on my cell phone, or on my desktop version of OneNote right here. And so if I wanted to go right here in my cell phone right now and just update this note, I'm going to change this over to red pen and just do a let's see if I can make this a little bit more easier to see. And so if I just want to make a test note right here, and then as you can see, that note is syncing immediately over to my desktop version. And so I can communicate back to the office with my office staff if I wanted to do that, by having the availability of being able to have that immediate syncing to the cloud of information in the notebook. And once you place that note in your OneNote notebook, you'll never lose it. And you can search for this note very easily to find it if you need to get back to this note. And so one more thing that I want to show you about this notebook is that during the deposition, you can have experts like a police officer to take handwritten notes, make diagrams or drawings in the deposition, which can be played back presumably at the time of trial, or to refresh that deponent's memory about something that they said at the time of the deposition. And so I wanted to show you how that also works. And so if you have a witness or expert or someone that can draw diagrams or explain things at the time of the deposition, you can go back and replay anything on this page. And so I'm going to go back over here to my View tab, and I'm going to hit the replay button. And so I'm just going to go ahead and replay everything on the page, or I could take this and I could select the place where I want to have replayed if I want to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and just replay everything on the page. And so this could be very handy for sequence of events or other items of interest that may be of note that you want to refresh the memory of a deposition witness or trial witness about at their prior testimony. And so this is a good way to be able to do that, is to have that replay feature back from the deposition. And so OneNote gives you the capability to be able to do that if that is something that your local rules would make available for you to do at the time of trial. Another handy feature of your deposition notebook is you have the ability to maybe record a note to yourself just after that deposition, to have that fresh recollection of things that are fresh in your mind that just took place during that deposition. And so here you can replay a recording of some information if you want to do that. And so here I'm going to replay my note that I made just after the deposition. In addition, we were able to secure testimony from Officer Harrison establishing that the plaintiff was required to mitigate her own damages by stopping at the stop sign before proceeding into the intersection. All right.